Magic sucks! You suck!
No longer has a job, and John has a job.
What? How does John have a job?
But don't get too fucking excited.
Wait, no, John has a job.
He's working at the pig.
Which one?
The one in town that used to be Winn-Dixie.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, the one on Fifth Street.
The one by Andy.
Yeah.
Is it
He
Fifth
also
or
has a
15?
car again. We helped him get a car.
Oh wow, that was quick.
We didn't, and by help I don't mean we spent any money, because fuck no.
You just pointed him in a
We
direction.
kept an eye out and everything, and kind of encouraged him correctly, I guess you could say, to do it. And he now has a 1998 Toyota Camry is what it is.
that's actually
Toyota
a
Camry.
Hey, something that's decent that has a good gas mileage.
It's got like super high miles, but it's a Toyota, so that doesn't really matter at all.
It's a 90s
Yeah,
Camry.
but as long as he services it regularly, that should last him a while.
He does know that servicing a car is required, right?
Well, I mean, we're right here, so it's not like we can't remind him. We're not his parents. We're not stupid and
Gotcha.
horrible people.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got like 260,000 miles on it, but he only
Jesus
paid.
Christ.
He paid like $2,800. He paid $2,800 for it.
That
yeah,
was
that's
way
not
too
bad.
much for that car.
Say what?
That was way too much for that car. For that high of mileage, it should have
Oh,
been like around a couple
The
hundred.
blue book on it for still 260 is over $3,000.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a
Holy
Toyota.
balls.
Especially the late 90s Toyotas. Their value
They're
stays.
still on the road everywhere. If you look around, well, I don't know about up there, but here, if you look around when you're driving, I'll guarantee you right now, that model, and by model I mean that body style Toyota, so 97, 98, 99, whatever, there's like one of every like 8 cars is still one of those on the road right now.
Yeah,
the car-
it's the same thing here, too.
The car's just short of 20 years old. It has that many miles on it. That means it was driven less than, let's see, if it's like 8, it's like what? It was 2098, so 16 years old, right? So 16 years divided by like 269 or whatever, that's like 20,000 miles a year. That's not like it was driven hard. It's just almost 20 years old.
Miles on cars are kind of a myth anyway, that like cars have a life expectancy.
Well, it depends on what kind of miles and who
Yeah,
drive.
Well, it's not just that. It's just that, I mean, you're talking about a machine, and certain parts will need to be replaced regularly, but they did an article a few years back about a guy that had used it was like an old Dodge, I think, or maybe a GMC pickup, and he had put over like 600,000 miles on it or something ridiculous that, because all it takes is regular servicing and replacing the parts that go bad, which is far less expensive in most cases than buying a new car.
Oh, and not hitting any fucking thing.
Well, yeah, not wrecking it, but
Well, I mean, it's like I said, it's 269,000 miles. He doesn't have a car payment, so yeah, so that means he doesn't have that ridiculous insurance. So
Right.
instead of having $600 a month he had to pay between a car payment and insurance, he now has $80 a month he has to pay for insurance, and that's it.
Good.
wow, I'm surprised. I'm still surprised his insurance is that low, given how little experience he has. But
He got
$80. That's what it is. That's with Geico.
that's bad.
he just got collision.
So he's
he?
got. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's pretty bad considering that my insurance was like 60 and that was full coverage with Geico. So I guess it's still pretty
Right.
high. But
Well, I mean, but
Well,
he was
remember, John hasn't been
300
driving
plus
very long
to,
either.
But yeah, I mean, he's got that. Yeah, I mean, it is high mileage, but I mean, Michelle worked at the Toyota place, so she could tell you. I mean, as long as you change the oil in a Toyota, and then when parts do wear out, you replace them, as Chris was saying, which we're talking about stuff that's going to wear on everything, shocks, maybe gaskets and stuff like that. Stuff that, yeah, I mean, it does cost a little bit of money, but it's spread out over years and years and years. The engine will run for practically forever. And even then, if you need to buy a reman engine for it, a reman engine for a Toyota Camry like that year model is $2,000.
No, that's not bad.
It's
So
still cheaper than a new
Oh,
car.
so all of the
You could
cost is
buy-
in the engine. It's not in the actual vehicle. All of its values
Yeah,
kept with
Yeah,
the
pretty
engine.
much.
right, because it runs forever. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
you know,
Toyota makes fantastic engines. I mean, they don't make
They-
racing engines or performance engines, but the shit runs forever.
They do make both of those as well, but
Well, I mean, they do, but like they're the reason that they're still like. I mean, they did a study a while back. Like the Toyota has more old cars running on the road than like any other company.
do that? Yeah.
I mean, and,
I'd still
you
rather
know,
have a 90s
everything in
Honda.
it works. It's got power windows. The only thing it doesn't have a CD player in it because you can tell that, like, I don't know what it was. I'm guessing an older person owned it because you can tell it doesn't have the factory radio in it anymore. But like it has the buttons for like a CD player or whatever.
Interesting. So, fuck
And then
daylight
it's-
savings.
The space has to be filled. So like they put the plastic holder thing in there, and so it's like you have like a little place to like sit shit at.
Okay.
It's like got one of those. So it doesn't have a CD player, but that's all right because I mean, you know, if you really wanted one, he could spend like $100.
Is anybody there? Of course, I lose signal. That's what happens. That's what always motherfucking happens.
Oh no! I figured out why I was getting a laggy quality in the call. It's because I was connected to my range extender and not my actual router. Because I connect to the range extender when I'm in the bedroom because our apartment's shaped like a really long rectangle, and so the signal doesn't go all the way back there. But now that I'm out in the living room at my desk, I needed to connect to the actual router. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. So I don't know.
Like-
I lost connection too.
Really lag. What the fuck?
Did he just go like all echoey on us?
Yeah, I don't know. I lost like the transmission for the call a few seconds ago. I don't know.
So did I.
Yeah, that was me probably when I switched Wi-Fi connections. We really do need to try like Uvu out because I've heard their call quality's better.
I had that downloaded for Michelle's mom, and I don't think we ever used it. But I know a lot of people use it because it has free party video chat as opposed to paying for it like Skype does. Like as in, you can have, 3 people or 4 people, whatever, and the video part of it's free. You don't have to. But that's because they got like advertisements and shit on the side. But I never actually got to use it. But I know people do use it, fairly regularly, I guess.
Fair enough. So fuck daylight savings in general. Hate this shit, especially this beginning one.
At least it happens on a Saturday going to Sunday instead of a Sunday going to Monday.
Yeah, but it screws up my bar time.
Oh,
I'm sorry you don't participate, but that doesn't sound like my problem.
I just think it's funny that like you don't realize how much of a alcoholic that makes you sound like.
I want you to realize on how little I care.
All right, cirrhosis of the liver.
That's okay. At least I enjoyed the way that I died.
It's it's kind of a pointless practice, really.
Daylight savings time.
It's pretty much done for like completely capitalist reasons.
Oh yeah, and it's not even really done for that anymore. It's tradition, nothing else really. I mean, daylight saving times, of course, it was the extra hour of being able to work.
Yeah,
because you're waking up and it was dark.
Extra time for retail outlets, for sports. it supposedly had an effect on like using energy. Because if you move the dark time closer to when you're asleep, you use less light.
I do like it for the like public parks and stuff like that because they're open longer, or they at least feel like they're open longer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just it slides your schedule an hour, so that's why they literally are open the same amount, but you're having more access to them because they're open from a time when you could actually go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arizona and Hawaii don't even participate, and
Ohio,
very few countries.
Parts of Ohio counties, certain counties don't. I think it's Ohio.
Well, what was it?
Yeah,
Benjamin
one of the
Franklin,
states I think
who
has a few counties.
Initially asked for it to happen. Is that right?
Huh?
Ben Franklin initially asked for it to happen.
Well, he's one of the
that's what
but
he was like a proponent of it. But back then, it made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, since you had candlelight and shit, you literally were losing an hour of productivity as far as farming and everything else.
Yeah.
If you got up at the same time, if you based it around time as opposed to around light. But I mean, that was before electricity made it so that wasn't an issue. And then after electricity came and became, the standard, the issue then was like, oh, well, we're going to save energy by not having you burn as much electricity. I don't know.
Although there are some people that say that Benjamin Franklin only kind of proposed it as a satirical joke. One of the the guy that actually invented the modern version of daylight savings time was I forget his first name, but his middle name's like Vernon, I think, and Hudson's his last name. He was the guy that basically
Jules Vernon.
Probably like George, I would imagine. He was the guy that came up with like our normal way of doing it, and he wasn't even like an astrophysicist or anything like that. He was like a bug scientist or some shit, which is weird.
That seems appropriate.
And he's from New Zealand, so.
Well, shit, down there, they're probably desperate for as much light as they can get, considering how low in the hemisphere they are.
Yeah. But, no, quick product blurb, of the week. For Valentine's Day, and I finally got to try it out, that's why I'm doing it now, but I got it for Valentine's Day as a gift.
Did you masturbate? Did that work out?
Yeah, it did.
Oh.
It did. It was nice and creamy for you, Wes. No, I got a bag of holding off ThinkGeek because I've been wanting one.
Which one did you get?
I got the backpack, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that there's no reason. There's no reason not to get the backpack, because the backpack and the messenger bag one are the exact same bag, except that the backpack has straps on it that you can use it as a backpack, or you can tuck them away in the side pouch.
Okay.
That's there, so it's more flexible and useful. Because it comes with the strap and everything. It's the exact same bag as the messenger bag, minus the fact that it doesn't have straps sewn to it. If you buy the messenger bag, so if you're going to spend the same amount of money, you might as well get the backpack. But it holds a lot of shit. There's a lot of pouches on it. It's really well made, and plus it has a D20 on it and says bag of holding, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it looks like the messenger bag's actually on sale right now. Huh. Cool. Is that?
You guys cut out on me.
Oh, fuck them.
I blame Wes' shitty internet.
Sure, blame mine.
It might be mine. I mean, shit, I have Comcast.
I don't care.
Someone's watching Netflix, and my bandwidth gets cut now.
Oh, yeah, someone's watching Netflix here, too, so my bandwidth gets cut.
Oh, no, I'm just meaning, like, Netflix signed that deal with Comcast so that their shit gets pushed through.
Yeah.
So, like, somewhere on this block, someone is watching House of Cards, and I can't get good internet.
House of Cards. So good.
I can. Oh! I'm so happy. I saw on the list, like, you found out Google Fiber's coming to the Research Triangle, right, Wes?
Yeah, well, I saw it's going to Portland too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I went to the site to see where it's going, and we're on the list.
Yes.
Thank.
So they actually did come through and confirm it for Raleigh.
Well, no, they haven't confirmed it yet, but out of the list of cities,
So
Raleigh,
it's still just a potential.
Well,
They're
talking.
They're in
negotiations
negotiations with the municipalities that are involved,
Yeah.
basically.
Raleigh.
I know they did that once before, but somebody in the Research Triangle cock blocked them about money or something.
They were trying to do it before. Like, we were supposed to be the second city, I think, and somebody was like, no. So then this time they've released a bunch of cities, but we're still they want to get here because of everything that's happening in the Research Triangle. And
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the Research Triangle. Where is fast internet going to be put to the most good use? I would think.
where the
Which
technology
is ironic
is.
because it's not like that's new. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of the innovative stuff between networking and stuff like that actually happens here in Raleigh or right outside of Raleigh. But they're expanding it. They're targeting the triangle, so it's not just Raleigh. It's Raleigh, Cary, Apex, Durham, Chapel Hill, and Carborough, I believe. And all they need to do is get one of those and Morrisville. They need to get one of those places to agree, which will probably be Morrisville, and the other ones will tell them no. And once that area gets it, it will spread like wildfire. But Morrisville is kind of the
for
big
Google
one.
Fiber.
It's like internet AIDS. Once one town has it.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think they're trying to stay out of like the inner city of Raleigh. Durham's in a whole lot of construction right now. Well, it would cost a hell of a lot of money just to get it into downtown.
And they would be bugged 12 times a day.
Not in Raleigh.
Just saying. West, the bathroom at the fucking McDonald's across from the Progress Energy Center or Performing Arts Center has a fucking lock on it inside the McDonald's. You have to ask for the key to use the bathroom in the McDonald's.
That sounds amazing. I need to go do that.
Fun fact: there's one of the only McDonald's that has teal blue arches is in Arizona, I think.
Why does it have teal
Was
blue
it like
arches?
fucking lapis lazuli or turquoise or something because of Indians?
No, the people there thought it would clash with the red, clay rocks and stuff like that, so they went with teal instead of yellow.
And I
Okay,
bet
so
they
basically
eat
the same
McDonald's
shit
less.
that Walmart used to do here.
I bet they eat McDonald's less there too.
Because everybody said, man, but
Walmart used to have
Yeah.
a bright cobalt blue.
it was
logo,
brown.
and
it was like brown. Do you remember when it was brown?
Oh yeah, no, it was
Spot?
yeah.
Well, I thought it was brown because
city
of
ordinance said
yeah.
that.
Oh, that's
right.
right.
Well,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was the city ordinance. It had some weird ass city ordinance about what colors it could and could not be, or some bullshit. I don't know. But I have people right now that work at Walmart that I'm pretty sure there's even before it moved, and they swear up and down I'm full of shit. It was never that color. I was like, you people have fucking lost your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was brown.
No, they're wrong. I remember when it was brown.
Yeah, because it used to be in the whatever the cheap ass.
It was brown.
Store
And it
is.
had these ugly ass orange, blue, and fucking I don't remember what other color stripe it was. I think it was white, stripes under it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Yeah,
It's like motherfuckers.
if I still had all my old 35 millimeter camera pictures from way back in the day, I'm pretty sure I have a picture somewhere in there that has it.
Yeah.
It just bugged me. I know it's a sad thing to get bugged about, but I was like, you fucking gotta be kidding me. Why won't you people believe me? Why would I make this up?
Because they don't. Because they're dumb. You know
also
that.
in the news, as far as random shit going places that you're like, what? It has been pretty much confirmed we are getting a second McDonald's.
Why?
Yes. Because they're loving it? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's going to go to that place I heard to begin with, which is, over where kind of near right beside where the old Frank's Pizza used to be.
Right. Oh,
Like
so they're
across
putting
Eastern
one on
Elementary?
each side of town.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Sweet, because we really need a McDonald's beside an elementary school.
Oh yes. Let's encourage our kids.
Reminds me of that
I
season
think
of
that's
Supernatural where the guy
I-
Dick is trying to make like Americans fat cows that him and the Leviathans can eat.
Oh, right.
I'm just saying, I can see it. You're not seeing the potential here. You need to have that there so you can point at it and be like, every time you don't do shit in class, this is where your future lies.
What are you talking about? That's an upsell in
Wall Street,
Washington.
for those of you who don't pass your integrated test, we're just letting you go over there.
That's an upsell in Washington.
No.
You know
That's
that.
messed
They're
up.
like, wait, I have a future?
Well, I mean,
Courts are supposed
yeah,
to
I was
also-
going to say, well, actually, I mean, really, that's not even punishment. That's just where like
You're giving
15%
them hope,
of all
Chris.
people in Washington end up working.
You're giving them hope. Don't give them hope. It's either that or Bojangles. And honestly, a second Bojangles in that town would be much better, especially if it stayed open till 2 and they added a few more bars, so it would be a little more like Greenville, and we'd be a lot happier.
And if they consistently made the fries well.
Oh, true. But the biscuits are always fucking amazing because they get some old ass
No,
grandma
they are
stuffed in the
not.
back.
They are not always
Not
fucking
always
amazing.
What?
When they're amazing, they're deliciously amazing, but sometimes they're hard as a fucking brick.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes you get the old ones, or sometimes
They're like
you get
hard
they
tack.
they left in the fucking oven too long, and shit
I
comes
feel
out
like it's some
like
shit I would carry with me on Oregon Trail to survive the winter.
Just dip it in the coffee. Dip it in your trail coffee. It'll soften up.
Oh, by the way, so
Go shoot like 7,000 pounds of meat and drag 200 back to the cart because
So,
that's
Corey,
apparently all you can carry.
did you get your
We're also
package
getting
from Chris?
supposedly, which this is old news, but a fucking cookout.
Cookout's amazing and everyone will be happier.
But instead of a second McDonald's, which I really don't need as well, because I try not to eat at McDonald's unless I absolutely have to. I'd much rather have something that's actually delicious, like a fucking Sonic. Because,
Broke ass
Sonic.
people in Washington can't
You know
afford
what?
Sonic.
Honestly, in Washington, I would prefer a pretty damn good restaurant.
Right. Well, I mean, everybody. I would like a nice like sit down or steak restaurant.
I mean,
or
no,
anything
not
like that.
Not like
you guys
a
need
steak.
an original Wow burger.
Like, give me like a Witch, or a Moe's
They
would
got one of
do
those in
fantastic in that town. But just something to where it's like a little bit more expensive, but you can get slightly better food, and you don't feel like
I
you're
got
dealing
you,
with a
but
fast food.
We just have different definitions of what a restaurant is, though, Wes. Because I don't consider those restaurants; those are just fancy fast food.
Well, no, I agree with you. Like, what is it, McAllister's? Is it McAllister's sandwich place?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
McAllister's definitely wouldn't work here because McAllister's is definitely too expensive for these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, but just some place where you're like maybe $10 a plate at most, but you're getting really good food instead of paying like.
See, I'd rather have. I mean, I like McAllister's quite a bit actually. But I'd rather if we're going to go that, like if we're going to go something where it's actually going to have a little bit of price to it,
Yeah.
I'd rather be able to actually get a meal instead of just a fancy sandwich.
Fair enough.
Me personally, which is why I would like to have like a not this specifically, but like a damn Outback, or not necessarily Outback, but what I'm saying, just like a sit down where you can get a couple different types of things.
Like basically any kind of steakhouse, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
because although the people who own Grub Brothers, which I already knew this was happening, but I'm confused about what they did, but they have reopened. I'm told. I think it's open now. Blackbeards.
Oh, okay, good.
Because
That
because
place's
Blackbeard's,
breakfast was amazing.
it closed down because it caught on fire or whatever fucking weird ass shit happened. to
Yeah,
it.
wasn't it like a tax or insurance fraud?
I don't know. I know it caught on fire. I didn't check into anything else, but they're supposed to. I heard they opened it. I don't think it's going to be called Blackbeards anymore. I don't even know like what the menu type is going to be because I haven't been by there to check or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know we talked to the lady who like runs Grub Brothers one night when we were in there, and she talked about because somebody asked if it was going to be like the same thing, and they said no. They said basically we're buying the building because when anybody makes a restaurant, they want to come in and make it their own,
Right.
and not be kind of beholden to using exactly what was there before.
Which doesn't go over too well in that town because people are very afraid of change there.
I want mediocre bar food from Blackbeard's and be surrounded by drunks and pool players. I want that back.
Well, I mean, Blackbeard's didn't have pool or anything.
Well, but it was mediocre bars.
They used to.
Their breakfast, though, was amazing.
I've never seen pool in there. You may know something I don't know.
They have a bar. They had a bar side to that restaurant.
Well, they had like the oyster bar, but that wasn't really the restaurant.
They had pool tables in there because I remember being drug in there by my mom one time when I was little.
Well, see, I've never actually been in the oyster bar section, so it's quite possible you're right.
Yeah, no, it's like that used to just irk me when people would like Blackbeard's had exactly one good meal a day, and that was breakfast, and people act like losing it was like their fucking right arm. Shit wasn't that good. There are like 14 other restaurants in Washington that are better. Fucking King Chicken is better than Blackbeard's.
Oh, how I miss my fucking cheese biscuits.
Yeah, I miss my cheese biscuits like a boss. I can't get anything close to it here.
You know who's lately, to me, when I've been getting cheese biscuits, has been the most consistently good is the damn... I think I call it the BP station. That's
the number 7 store?
The number 7 store
Yes.
across from the college.
Yes, I used to stop by there and get a cheese biscuit, get them to separate it and put their fresh sausage and a fresh egg on it. Oh my god, how I'm so glad I had such a high metabolism in high school.
I don't know, man. The handful of times I had biscuits from there, they were always like really greasy and gross.
That's because
The place that used to have them the best was I think it used to be an Exxon station. I'm not sure, but it was right there near the hospital on
Mom's Grill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mom's
I hated
Grill.
Mom's Grill. It always tasted burnt.
They had delicious fucking cheese biscuits from the time I was going to like fucking Cara World Daycare Center until the time I was in like middle school. And then they just like swapped out their kitchen staff and they went to complete shit. Like they were the best, fluffiest, most delicious fucking cheese biscuits, and then they just tasted like they threw together a biscuit and dropped it in a deep fryer and called it a day. Like
now to me, it's like flip flopped, right? Because lately, when I've had the opportunity to get them, which isn't super often, like the number 7 stores had the best because they're fluffy and stuff lately.
Well, then they've changed. Used to make them then.
Mom's Grill was second, and I had King's Chicken biscuit because I didn't get them a lot because they only take cash, and I never have cash on me. That's why I always never got them.
Yeah, no, I understand
and
that.
I got some like a week or so ago, and they were very disappointing. They were like just really. They weren't very big. They weren't very fluffy. They weren't like hard, but like they were like. Like a good cheese biscuit feels like a biscuit's almost melting in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like these weren't. They were like I felt like I had to chew them like chewing gum. I was like, what is this shit?
Walk back
and
in
I had
and
to
just
stand
be
in
like,
King
hey,
Chicken. I feel like I was going to get shivved the entire time.
For anybody out there listening who doesn't know what a cheese biscuit is, it's basically a biscuit.
Move to the south. Don't be a loser.
That's the size of a softball. Well, good ones are about the size of a softball. You can make them smaller. And they have a gigantic handful of, like, cheddar cheese in the middle that melts.
Yeah, so how they're made,
Just to
or
clear
at least
that up for
how
anybody
I've
who doesn't
seen
know,
that they're
because there are
made.
certain sections of the country where
Yeah,
they look at me like I'm
Everybody-
retarded. They're like, oh, you mean those things they sell at Red Lobster, right? And I'm like, fuck no.
No.
Those are
delicious
No,
too.
those are pretty good, but they pale in comparison to a good cheese biscuit.
Yeah, no, the way that I've seen them made and the best that I've had, they get a ball of shredded cheddar and they just put this into about the size of your palm, and you get this nice little ball, and then they take dough and kind of like put it around that ball of cheddar and then bake it as such.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty
I
easy.
wish you
to
had
make.
your own cooking show, West.
They're pretty easy to make.
Unlike epic mealtime, this is simple mealtime.
Indeed.
Simple mealtime. isn't that like
Any meals would win.
isn't that one movie
Master
Simple
of Drunk
something?
Food.
What's the name of Ben Stiller's character that he played in like the movie that he didn't get an Oscar for in Tropic Thunder? Simple Sam or some shit like that. Or
Yeah.
I feel like you just invented a cooking show where he's like the person cooking West.
So Corey, I don't know what you got. Because I received my package from Thomas today, or not today, but earlier this week, and
I got it Friday, but I didn't get it until like really late Friday because I didn't get to the house until late.
Right, but
it's awesome.
Yeah, same here.
I'm betting mine beats yours.
That's questionable. So 2 vinyls. One is Captain Spaulding. The other was Mike Myers. The little squishy thing that he was talking about, which
Michael Myers. Mike Myers is somebody who plays.
Oh, right, Michael Myers. My bad.
He can call him Mike. They're friends.
This little squidgy thing, which are apparently a thing because I found some Turtles ones at Target yesterday. But it's the Yellow Ranger that I'm still not really sure what the fuck it is. But it's a thing. Like people, I googled it. Like there are people that are really excited about collecting these little bastards. Although I
just don't understand why you would rather have, instead of having a nice vinyl that's gonna last, having like this little squishy shit that's probably gonna dry out and be fucking disgusting.
Well,
like,
one of the guys was like, "These things are great for stress," and I'm like, "I'm pretty positive I'm going to blast this thing all over my hand. It'll be like a sad time with myself."
How many times has Wes had to say that?
Yeah, I tried to get to that joke before you did, but fuck you. And the last thing is this wonderful poster. It's the Ninja Turtles as we would probably expect from me, but it also has Deadpool, and it's Deadpool and Mikey hand in hand with the rest of the Turtles. Just it's so fantastic.
All right, well, mine is a literal. I'm not sure if he did like one of the comics that when they kind of like flashbacked or redid this scene, or if it was just his like literal him drawing that frame from the comic. But it is a frame from Justice League International.
Oh, nice.
Its original from where it had Keith Geffen and what's his face on it? Geffen and DiMatteo, I think.
All right.
Doing the writing back from the late 80s, early 90s. I think it was early 90s. And it is the One Punch scene where Batman fucking knocks Guy Gardner the fuck out with one punch.
Yes.
And like
Corey.
Booster Gold and better. It like had like a little insert of them saying it, and it has Batman just arm extended and like Guy Gardner flying into the foreframe. It just says at the bottom, "One punch," and then it's signed by him, McGuire.
Nice.
So that was awesome. I mean, it's the One Punch. It's one of the best single panels ever in comics. Truly.
That's amazing.
Some people say Superman holding dead Supergirl from Crisis on Infinite Earths. I say no.
No, One Punch.
One Punch.
No. Chris Thomas, you did a fantastic job.
Shaped more like a triangle instead of like more like a equilateral triangle instead of an isosceles.
Sure.
Okay, well, if you don't like,
there's way too much math going on this morning, dude. I ain't doing no geometry.
If you don't like the really, really long, thin, like tapered points, which it sounded like you didn't, the ones that are shorter and probably last longer.
Well, that's how I remember the Black Warriors being. The Black Warriors always had like kind of a shorter.
Well,
like,
it's a sharpener you use basically.
But excuse the fuck out of me, pencil man.
No, I'm saying like all pencils sharpen according to the sharpener. Like school sharpeners, some of those would do like really long, wonky, like look like they chipped off half of one of the sides, like because I guess they were crappy sharpeners. But no, if you like shorter points, there's a sharpener I got off Jet Pens called Ratchetta. It's like a ratchet. It has ratcheting action, so instead of just spinning the pencil, you can ratchet the sharpener itself.
That's nice.
And it has a little it has a button you push in, so that once the point's long enough, it like taps it and it pops out like punk, and it makes a noise that you can hear, so you know it's done. But that puts a really, really nice short point on the pencil.
Right.
If you like long points, I don't.
So apparently, there's this world of like fancy like manual pencil sharpeners. I also didn't know existed. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's not super. It's not super fancy. This one's kind of. It's just a low end one that like kids in Japan or wherever the hell it's from like you use it. I mean, it's like $3.
That sounds
Right, well,
amazing.
what I
I
meant
need
by
one right
fancy-
now. I'm gonna go hunt one down today.
What I meant by fancy is like I don't know if you remember the manual pencil sharpeners we always had, which were like the bane of every pencil's existence.
Oh yeah, I hate there's really cheap like Office Depot ones. Yeah, I hate.
Little square ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like I'd rather literally just like take it and rub my pencil vigorously against the desk to get a point.
I got
Just
really good
saying.
at them. I got really good at using them.
Let me see if I can find the link for it. They come in different colors, and I think they have some that do different kind of points. I'll share that with you two fellows. But yeah, that would be a sharpener I would suggest getting. And there's another one if you like long,
They tell me size doesn't matter.
longer points. They may not sell it anymore. Oh, no, there it is. I don't know why it didn't come up when I searched for it. Alrighty. Go ahead and paste this into the box there. And
Ends. Well, that looks fancy as fuck. It's a
and,
pencil sharpener from the future. It's like a
and
Ray Bradbury pencil sharpener.
the other one I bought to try out that does really good long points. I'm not sure if it's this one. They have another one that looks kind of just like it, but it's this brand anyway. And that one's a two-phase. Like the second one's a two-phase sharpener. The first part sharpens the wood, and so you have this like long, thick, unsharpened piece of lead sticking out. And then the second socket that you put it in sharpens the actual lead itself without touching the wood.
What the shit? It's like we live in the future.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I think I sent you one of every pencil kind that I've.
So, what was the deal again? I remember you telling me, and I can't remember. I looked through them, obviously,
Oh my God.
and was checking them out and everything. What I've decided I'm probably going to do is I'm going to wait and I'm going to test them out when I start up some D&D again, since I have to write down so much shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use them for that because that seems appropriate.
Yeah.
But what was the deal with the ones that have like the weird little end caps on them that don't have erasers? Like I remember you said there was a reason for that.
Oh.
I don't know what it was.
Near as I can tell, I guess it's just like so. If you, for a couple of different reasons, if you buy them and you want to keep them for years, the erasers would dry out and be useless anyway.
Right.
But also, there are these fancy like pencil holder things that people buy once they start to get
That's awesome.
short. And those, if you're holding them in a long, like in like a metal fucking, like I bought one just to try it out because I was curious what they're like. But they have a metal frame on a lot of them. Like I bought a Steitler brand one, but it you put the pencil up inside of it, and then it's like you're using a pen or a mechanical pencil, and it makes it easier to hold because once they get like short and stubby, they're for some people they're less wieldy.
Are you talking about the extender?
Yeah, basically, a pencil extender
Oh, okay.
or a pencil holder.
I don't know. Maybe asking the guy that draws all the time might know a little bit about why like pencils don't have erasers on the end of them and things like
Wes,
that.
we've after many years we've just come to the conclusion that we're going to assume you don't know much about anything and just skip over it. So you'll have to remind us.
But also, some people are finicky about the erasers they use, so they'll buy like pink pearl erasers or black pearl erasers, or they'll buy the like fucking putty erasers, and they'd rather use those instead of the erasers that come on the pencils.
Not to mention those the erasers on the pencils.
John said it was like they
don't
were
last
like
for shit.
drafting pencils. He said only drafting pencils don't have erasers on the end. That
No,
was, like,
that's
how they
bullshit.
stopped.
Sketching pencils, like basically when you're buying the pencils for a lead reason only, you don't need an eraser on all of the pencils that you buy because you're going to have different weights and hardnesses. Hence your HB, H2, F, and all that other stuff. And you only need one eraser because the eraser is going to do the same thing across the board. So why put a little eraser at the end of all these different weighted pencils when you're just going to have an eraser that you're not sitting right beside all that stuff?
So effectively, what you're telling me is that it's designed with drawing in mind and not writing. In which case, writing you would want to have an eraser attached to a pencil because it makes it more precise for erasing smaller, like markings, like writing.
Yeah, you're going to be. There's a higher likelihood that you're going to be erasing less when you're writing, because let's face it, if you're writing, you probably aren't going to be making that many mistakes spelling wise, and even if you are, you're going to be writing through it and then probably translating it to another medium. In any case.
Like typing it up or something like that. Or you're just handwriting a note that doesn't matter if it's perfect anyway.
Yeah, drafting pencils nowadays use what is known as lead holders, where you go buy the stick of lead and you stick it in a holder and then you sharpen the lead piece. That way you don't have to deal with the wood and the breaking of lead within it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that too. A lot of people are using those for writing now.
Yeah,
too,
no, I
because
love
they
them.
just they like the way it feels using the lead holder.
Mm-hmm. And you can
So
buy
basically, you're
lead
buying
in
just a
different
giant stick of graphite.
Yeah.
And throwing it inside of a metal holder thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
So
mechanical
it's like the world's
pencil, but
fanciest
faster.
mechanical pencil. So,
Kind of,
what
yeah.
I'm hearing.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, because isn't that definitely what a mechanical pencil is? A piece of
Pretty-
plastic that holds a piece of lead that you use.
Except that the lead in these is usually much thicker.
Right. Well, I
and you
assume that.
kind of
Basically,
sharpen it down.
that stick of lead that they would use in your wooden pencils, they just removed the wood part around it and gave you, or you get like a plastic mechanical piece.
I've
to
always
put that lead
wondered
in.
why it is in the mechanical pencils they always gave you such tiny fucking pieces of lead. Other than that, they wanted them to break. You'd have to buy more.
That would be my guess.
Well, it depends. With mechanical pencils, you can get 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9. Like
Yeah, but it's still way smaller than a pencil lead. It feels
Well, and
well,
that
I don't know.
also
Point
is
.9 is actually really, really thick lead. I have a Dr. Grip pencil that I've used for years because it's my favorite
Does
mechanical
the-
pencil
does-
I've ever had because
does
it
this
uses
pencil
0.9
tell you
and
to
it
turn
never
your head and
breaks
cough?
because it's so thick. Do what now?
Does this pencil tell you to turn your head and cough? I mean, it is called Dr. Grip, right?
That'll be Dr. Tug, actually.
My bad.
No. And it has I mean it's
so
my favorite. And it
it's
has
the
like little
doctor
spinny,
that puts
it has
his
little
finger up your
spinny
butt.
erasers. Yeah, they're thick. They're really thick in your hand. That's the only drawback for people that don't like them. Really, is that the pencil itself is a lot fatter than most.
It's a
mechanical
choo-choo pencil.
Yeah, I mean basically it's a choo-choo pencil equivalent of a mechanical pencil. But I've always enjoyed having it because it's good for filling out D&D character sheets or things where you if you're doing it really fast and you don't want your lead to break. Debate or taking notes. It always sucks when you break your lead while you're taking notes. But I recently bought a Dr. Grip ink pen, and it's not like gel ink. It's just a regular roller ball, and it's the best writing roller ball pen I've ever owned. So yeah, and in general, I guess I endorse Dr. Grip stuff because it seems to work pretty well.
Michelle so she's got she bought me one, which I don't use pens a whole lot, but I have to use them at work. But in that case, I just used the cheapest ones I can get because the fucking kids try to steal them anyway. But she has one, and that's what she uses. She's been using it for a year. She has it in her pocketbook. Do you have the one that's it might not be the same thing, but it's kind of like a bullet shaped almost, and it's got a little gel thing at the end, for a grip.
Yeah, kind of like that.
I think that's called
I mean,
a
it might
vibrator.
make-
Well, I think that's
I
part
don't
of. I think that's Dr. Grip. I guess they all have to have that thing on the end because I think that's part of where they get the name from. But the ink pen I have, it's black instead of clear. On the pencil, it's a clear jelly thing at the end, but on the ink pen, they changed it to be black. I guess to try to make the pens more aesthetically appealing. I don't know. Because I remember they used to make the pens, and they looked exactly the same as the pencils. And then when I went to actually buy one to try it out, it looked different. But yeah, no, that's basically like my pen and pencil stuff that I've done so far. I found some that I want to try out, but they're expensive, and I can't find the singles instead of buying the whole like $25-$40 box. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but they have pink pearl erasers like built onto them. They're supposed to be really good writing pencils.
I see.
I think they're Tombow pencils. I'm not sure.
Tombow.
I think I bought like one kind of Tombow, one or two.
You did.
I sent you, yeah.
I got them right here. I have. Hold on. I'll list them out. I have them hidden in my desk so my son doesn't find them. I have a Steitler Mars Lumograph minus eraser.
Yeah, that's the blue one, yeah.
I have one that's so fancy that it's still in a little plastic thing. It's a Rhodia. It just says Rhodia. It's the triangle shaped one. It's orange. It does have an eraser. I have a Palomino Golden Bear, which is a orange eraser. That's blue. A classic, like, hexagon. I have a high quality Tombow 2558 with a little dragonfly on it. That
I think
took me a while to find it because, like, on the other side it has a UPC. It says for general writing.
Yeah.
As opposed to for hardcore badass writing. I also have my personal favorite are the Mitsubishis, which like have the word hyphenated. So it's like this is what we used to use as our name back in the day when we only made pencils, I guess.
Ah, gotcha.
So it says Mitsu-Bishi, and this is a high uni, also without a eraser.
And then you should have a Mitsubishi 9800.
It's a burgundy. I have a Mitsubishi 9850, which says Mitsubishi, and it has little quotation marks around it, and it's made by Mitsubishi Pencil Company, spelled the normal way. Smooth writing pencil for office use. Then we have the Mitsubishi 9800 matured, which is a real gangster because it's like, fuck you. You can sharpen me from either end, motherfuckers.
I find it amazing that we've been able to talk. Well, you two have been able to talk about pencils for the past 20 minutes.
Did I send you
what educated folks do, Wes?
Did I send you the Steitler?
And it's still
and then I have
going.
Wopex. Yep, that was the last one.
Those are supposed to be really good.
They look cool, if nothing else. I like the feel of them in my hand.
Yeah, the wood in them's supposed to last longer, so that when you sharpen, it sharpens off less of the pencil. Supposedly,
you can look at the wood and tell, just from the sharpened section of it, that it is obviously a solid piece of wood and not a molded together piece. And from the way it's sharpened, if you look at it, at least this one, it looks almost like it was hand sharpened. If that makes any sense.
Holy Jesus Christ! This is hands down the boringest thing I've ever listened to.
That's not true, West. I was at your wedding vows.
No, the Mitsubishi 9800s,
Apparently
those
they
are
didn't
cool.
last.
Like the double ends like that, those are cool if you like using different points because you can
So
sharpen
have one
with
end, one on the other.
Yeah.
I would kill myself with that.
And they actually make these little clear tube things that you can use to cap the ends so that your points don't break when you put them in your bag or whatever. So I imagine people use those on the end you're not writing with.
And since you say we're boring, West, I'd like to point out this is the Nerd Method podcast. And what's more nerdy than talking about pencils and fucking pocket protectors?
I didn't realize that were pocket
betraying
protectors.
Your name, sir.
I didn't realize there were pocket protectors in this conversation. I retract my previous statement. Now tell me more about these pocket protectors and how they prevent things from bleeding into your shirts.
Pocket protectors are good from
wasting your delicious graphite on those Oxford shirts you're wearing.
Yeah,
Wait.
you don't want the points stabbing you or breaking in your pocket.
Wait, number
Yeah,
one,
especially after you had to buy a
I
special
can't
pencil sharpen them.
I cannot afford Oxford shirts.
You cannot what?
Afford
Oxford
I think that's what he
shirts.
said.
Oxford's just a style. Yes, you can.
No, I can't. It
You
hurts
could
my
if you
soul.
didn't have to worry about fucking, daylight savings cutting off your drinking hour. Maybe with the extra hour you saved, you can buy a shirt, you cheap bastard.
I would like to consider it priorities.
What?
It's priorities. My nerdism based on alcohol is way more important than that of a T-shirt.
I believe. See, I would argue when you connect nerdism to alcoholism, it changes into something different. It creates a hipster.
How so? Go on. I'm listening.
It depends on if there's PBR involved.
Oh, there is. And craft beers, come on, hipster. A nerd with glasses and a beard, which we know that like half your friends are, Wes. Don't lie. And like
can't
you like
even
to
deny
peruse
that.
different beers and stuff. You've passed over the line from nerd into hipster. I'm just saying, skinny jeans. You know, defense rests, my friend. The defense rests.
What's bad with having variety in your life, huh?
Variety? I don't know.
Variety.
Variety is good. Variety, though.
Variety is a combination of variety and validity.
And validity?
Yeah.
Which there's no validity to skinny jeans, so just saying.
How
Harsh.
so? How so, sir?
Well,
I don't
for
have
one,
much of an ass, and I need to show it off a little bit.
West.
Yes.
I got news for you. If you think that's what you've been doing, someone has lied to you. They have lied to you poorly. It's not
I'm
what's
sorry,
happening,
Chris.
man.
I'm sorry. Not everybody has an 8-inch dick, so we've got to try a little bit harder. If I
Well,
can make my 4 inches
you know.
look better, I'm a happy man.
Well, right. Well, I mean, everybody needs to reach for the stars. I'm just saying. But
Well, fopping shit up on a table and saying, "Aren't you proud, Mom?" just makes me question a lot of things and choices in your life. But I'm not confident enough to do that exact same thing with my penis because it's just. It's sad.
you're going out in public with a thin skein of fabric over it, dressed somewhat like a feminine person.
Yeah, it's called.
Okay.
It's called.
Please
fuck.
tell me what it's called.
Fuck.
Desperation? I don't.
No, it's kind of like trimming back the hairs just to make it look bigger.
Just a little bit. It's an optical illusion.
Yes, that's the word.
You're like fucking David Blaine.
If you stare at it and kind of slightly cross your eyes, it's
like
like
a
one of
magic
those
picture.
3D like picture
It's
things.
a magic eye poster.
if you squint hard
every
enough.
time he goes to the bedroom with his girlfriend, he has to dim the lights to the exact right amount instead of a mirror in the corner. Now don't move from that position. Cross your left eye.
It's like one of those like funhouse attractions where the furniture's like glued to like the wrong side of the room.
I was gonna say with Wes is like one of them funhouse mirrors.
That's messed up.
Like he
That's
puts on
messed
skinny
up.
jeans and tries to look hot and shit, and he puts that mirror up there, and he comes out when she looks in the mirror, looks like Kid and Play, like baggy jeans and a fucking flat top. See him doing the little dance, kicking his feet together. Nice. So, here's something that neither one of you will probably care about at the moment, but I'll just, it's a little anecdote. I'll be quick about it.
You're quick
You know,
about nothing.
one of my pleasures in life is reminding John that no matter how good he thinks he is at something, I'm better than he is.
We know.
Right, and
We've all partaken into that pool.
Okay, well, it was basically Magic Commander,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, what? John's trying to play Commander now?
Well, here's the deal, right? Martin's been playing it with some other people, I guess, and so he kind of wanted to play that, which he didn't end up coming over. But I was like, whatever. I mean, I'll try something new. Because the only thing that's kept me from playing it is I'm really fucking lazy and didn't feel like making a deck.
Yeah, no, I love Commander.
But well, I mean, it's way more social. It's not really competitive, because the game is meant to be longer and all kinds of weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm listening.
John built a deck. Sam came over. He had one of the pre-con decks, which is actually
Yeah, I know.
like they're actually not broken. I don't want to say broken. They're not broken, but like you have access to doing extra shit in them you wouldn't in a normal commander deck because they have shit specifically built to work with commander.
Yeah, I know. I bought one.
Like a commander that does stuff when it's in the command zone, and nobody else could accomplish that
Yeah.
because that shit doesn't exist on normal cards.
Yeah, it's the only way to
Well,
get
he
those
built-
cards.
He had that. John built a red-green, like, just fucking beat deck, a Gruul deck, because he used the Gruul legendary guy that, like, anytime anybody casts a spell that's not a creature spell, it does 6 damage to them.
Okay.
It's like a 6/6 with reach. I mean, and so he built that, and I was like, you know what? Let me look through all my legends I got, because I got a lot of them. And, you know, everybody wants to do multicolor, blah, blah. So I was like, you know, fuck it, let's go simple. I use Radiant Archangel.
Okay. What's her ability?
She's a 3/3. She's basically a smaller Sarah Angel.
Yeah.
Except that she gets +1/+1 for every other flying creature in play.
Oh, nice.
So I just proceeded to go through and pick every white flying creature that I own, more or less, and put them in a deck, and just like curb stomp the ever living shit out of both of them. And I did not expect it to go that well. Like, I figured there would be plenty of removal and different things that would have got rid of it, or, you know, vice versa.
What precon was he playing?
He was playing the white, black, blue, the one that's about, like, gaining a shit ton of life and using it to do stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the weakest ones.
Well, I know. The strongest one's probably the one that's like $60 fucking because it has, like, the true name Nemesis in it and everything else.
Well, the only reason that one's $60 is because it has that one card in it. The other ones are of equal cost, but the black, blue, and green one, I believe, which is the one that I have, is retarded because it works on the undead era. And then there's another one that's red, green, and white, I think. And that thing's fucking stupid too, because it's based off of it's basically a zoo concept but overpowered. But the next time I'm down, I'm bringing my the one that I've built that I've been working on getting together for years. It uses experimental Kraj as my commander, and one of the big tricks in it is I can infinitely use planeswalker abilities in a turn.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
And the deck's uber powerful.
Which I don't even have planeswalkers. I don't even fucking mess with them. But like I said, this was just real simple. I mean, I actually looked after I built it to see if anybody built them before, because I knew somebody had. And they had, and it was like the exact same deck I made, except for it was nothing but rares, obviously, like all the rare angels and shit like that. Which I can see it getting fucking retarded. With some of the abilities some of them have coming to play effects, et cetera, et cetera. But it was kind of entertaining. Like, I mean, like John, like they just see, because I was a dick too, because, like, you know, since,
You're
you know,
always
there's
a
no
dick.
limitations. There's no limitations into what you have to do when it comes to, like, commander. So I fucking put circle of protections in there.
Yeah, the only thing
I put karmas in there.
Yeah, the only thing you have to do is you have to keep to the colors of your commander, and you can only use one copy minus basic lands. That's it.
Yeah, I put, like I said, I had, like, Sanctimony.
Sanctimony?
Was in there, so tap a mountain. I made it so black creatures can't attack and block.
Did you guys start at 35?
I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
Did you guys start at 30 or 35? I can't remember what the life total start is.
40.
40?
Starts at 40. Yep. But you only have to do 21 damage with your commander to win. So that's how I always won, because it didn't matter how much life you gained, because, you know, Radiant was going to be like a fucking 12/12 on, like, turn 5.
Gotcha.
So I only got to hit you twice.
Gotcha. No, then, you built it very well. They didn't they didn't have enough removal in there?
John wasn't playing, like, any removal.
Oh, no, that's bad.
Well, I know Sam had some, but he just never managed to draw it.
Yeah.
I know Commander uses a lot of board wipes, and neither one of them are playing those.
Oh, yeah. Well, it can sometimes. Like, the big rule with Commander is when you build a deck, you go get a Soul Ring and 99 other cards.
Yeah, well, Sam actually had a Soul Ring, and it came with his damn precon.
Yep.
So,
which is part of the reason I bought the precon.
You can either do like 40 lands on average or less, and if you do less, you just make sure you got a bunch of mana fixing.
Yeah, the ratios are really weird. Like, I think mine's running a little bit heavy because of some of the lands that I'm using. And I do a lot of mill through my deck. Like half of the deck that I built is just turn that 100-card deck into a 50-card deck. That way I can get cards that I need a lot sooner. And it works out really well, and it pisses a lot of people off. But the recovery factor within Commander is the hard part. If you can't kill multiplayer fast, then you've got to be able to bounce back from like large board wipes, or the fact that someone's like, you have to assume every card in your deck's going to die.
Right. Well, I mean, that's why my shit is set up with all the circles of protection and shit like that. Because, I mean, that's, it doesn't do much about the board wipes, but there's nothing you can do about the board wipes, really. Minus counter them if you're fucking playing blue.
Yeah, you can phase too. That helps.
Yeah,
that's right, phasing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had all that shit in there, so I had a lot of ways to just fuck people over. Because why the fuck not? I don't ever get to play with those cards anyway.
True.
So that was kind of entertaining and fun. It was like, it wasn't even. I mean, like my shit had no mechanics. I mean, it had all that stuff was just passive defense to stay alive, but like there was no mechanics involved in the attacking. It was just make this person bigger and hit you with it. And it was doing way better than I thought it would do. Just because I figured, they were playing with a bunch of newer cards. I figured there'd be all kinds of shit I had to deal with. But
yeah, from what
multiplayer though, I've always been a little bit better at that than John anyway, because he doesn't think things through as in what the reaction is going to be if he does this or that or blah blah blah.
And there's a part in multiplayer where you talk to your opponents, where you kind of do a little bit of betrayal.
You're bluffing and everything else.
Well, and you talk to a guy that's about to kill one of your things, and you sit there and you're like, you don't do this because if you do that, this is going to happen. So you make them rethink what they're about to do and get them on your side really quick. Like, there is a little bit of mind manipulation as well.
My favorite part.
And then you've also got to consider on how long do I keep this other person around, because I see where his deck's going, and if I let him sit around too long, I'm going to die. But he's not fucking with me right now, so I'm going to let him just wreck the other person until he becomes scary.
Truthfully, you know what it reminded me of playing it? It reminded me of when we used to all get together and just play like 4-man free-for-all shit in the floor. Mm-hmm. But just with, we weren't playing with normal decks.
Yeah.
This time. Although it felt the same way as we used to, because back then the game was so much slower. Mm-hmm. Commander actually mimics, in my opinion, the speed that it used to take place in, as opposed to now when someone like John is going to try to build like a damn tournament deck every time, and all tournament decks about are speed.
Well,
so the game never gets to like actually draw out and kind of reach an apex.
Yeah,
it's just
Commander
over
games,
and done with.
Commander games are very rarely won quickly. They're about dragging it out.
Wouldn't it just be faster in Commander to use poison counters, since those usually say that once they have 20, they're dead?
With Commander, poison counters
or 10.
Poison counters
are
up to
you
15.
That.
It's either 15 or 20 poison counters. They're there's more poison counters you have to hit. No, it's 15 because the Commander damage is still more than that. Yes.
Oh, I don't. The thing about the stuff like that is, you're right. It's just like playing with Shadow, right? I mean, I could throw Shadow creatures in there and be like, "Fuck you." Good luck finding some shit to play with.
There's a legendary Shadow. I think he's banned though, actually.
But the thing is with it, the way it works is, since it's not really meant to be like a tournament thing, it's meant to be social. Is that you have agreed upon rules when you're playing with people in your social group before you do it, and so you're going to be like, all right, so nobody's going to play this. Nobody's going to play that.
No, mine's built for Commander tournament play. I've got.
You set your own limits as to what kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I had 2 angels, sadly, or 2 flyers that could do poison counters.
Yeah. No, there's an overrun that I've got that basically gives all of your creatures poison in addition to overrun. So it's one of my 10 wins within the deck. That's the other big deal with building Commander, is you can't rely on just one win, because if you shut that one win down, that's game for you. So your deck has to be able to win in like multiple ways. Which you built a basic zoo deck, from what I understand, a flying zoo deck. So
It's an aggro deck. That's all it is. Yeah.
So it's your win, even though you've got like the big one win, it's completely doable throughout the entire play period of the deck. I'm willing to bet John built his deck as a single win deck. Like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Because it only works one way.
His was just a bigger fucking beat deck than mine was, but the problem was is that I had flyers, and Radiant's a flyer. Unless he can get rid of Radiant, you know, he was just shit out of luck because all I got to do is 21 damage with her.
Yeah.
And I can do that in 2 swings, and he can't block her.
Yeah.
I mean, flying, you know, flying's always good. It's never not good.
True.
I mean, you know, simple works.
Yeah.
Well, unless someone has a hurricane.
Well, right, but you only have one.
Yep.
Because it's commander. So
But-
you're only going to get to play that trick one time.
But if you have Hurricane, you probably also have some sort of X spell, or a few other board wipe X spells, maybe a Wrath of God, maybe some Damnation.
And see, I had a bunch of those wipes and stuff that I was going to put in, and then I decided just not to fuck with it because I was like, you know what? If this doesn't push through to win fast enough without that, it's probably not going to win anyway. I'm too damn lazy to fucking. So I got all those cards that like the warmth and the karma and all the weird fucking fuck over color cards.
Mhm.
Like I got the one that fucking says anytime you take damage from a blue source, reduce it by 2. It's just an enchantment. I got the one that says I got the fucking card that's an enchantment that says every time an enchantment will be played, counter it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just sits there and does that.
Yeah.
You know, all that shit is sideboard stuff. But I was too lazy because I figured, all right, look, it's Commander. The idea behind Commander is you're going to be playing with, you know, at least 3 or 4 people.
Mhm.
And the odds are that every one of these cards is going to affect at least one person's deck.
Mhm.
So you might as well board them and call it a fucking day and be lazy, which is what I did.
Yeah, Commander is... there's 2 styles of building Commander. There's multiplayer Commander, and then there's single-player Commander. Kind of like your regular run-of-the-mills when you build a regular deck. However, with Commander, the shift is a lot bigger. Like, you can build an all-arounder deck with a 60 card that can handle 1-player and 2-player, but most of the time with Commander, because you're only playing one game. The entire idea is you're only playing one game. So anything that you have in your sideboard is in that deck. So you're trying to handle as many situations as possible. And the people who do that wind up a lot better.
I mean, that's like John. John actually, his best game he had when he played me was when we played one-on-one right out the gate to begin with so he could test shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because, you know, you get to focus on one person. When your attention is divided between 2 or 3 other people, it's a whole different game. And that's when I think the Commander actually, I think that's fun. Like playing with 2 people, it's okay. I mean, it's just like playing an extended version of a game where you actually get to play shit you normally wouldn't get to play. Just because of how Magic works. But definitely more fun in multiplayer. Of course, I always like free-for-all anyway. That's always been one of my favorite formats.
Yeah.
Because it's a different type of strategy you have to use.
Yeah, next time I'm down, I'll make sure I have my Commander deck on me and we'll play. Because I've been building my Commander deck for a few years now, and I finally have 99% of the cards for it, and I make a few shifts as new cards come out. But the one downside is my deck wound up turning into a money deck because of some of the cards that I'm using, and I just happened to.
Well, I mean,
acquire.
every commander does if you actually want to like maximize it, just because
Well, right.
of.
Well, I wound up with a Gaius Cradle when they were cheap, and then once they changed the Legend rule again, Cradle went up to from like a $40 card to a $200 card, and I've got one in my deck.
Because now you can have more than one legend with the same name and play again, right?
Yeah, but only on opposite sides, so you can't.
Opposite sides.
Yeah, so you can't use it as removal
You
anymore.
can't use it as a destruction.
Yeah, which sucks. But because it shot up, like my deck was around a $200 deck, now it's like a $500 deck, and yeah, just one card boosted it that high, made me so very happy.
My deck that I built last night is probably like a $10 deck because I would wager a guess that 75% of the cards in it are fucking commons.
There are a lot of commons like Priest of Titania. Is it Titania? Anyway.
Yeah, Titania. Yeah.
Titania. Yeah, she's a $10 card, and she's a common. $5 or $10 card.
Oh, right. But, I mean, she was also from fucking Urza Saga. I mean,
yeah.
You know, what do you want me to tell you? I mean, I have, like, my deck right now, it has, like, I would say literally there's less than 10 or 15 rares and uncommons in the whole deck.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the commons aren't even very good commons. They're just commons with flying. Because that's really all that matters. Because basically they're living buff spells for Radiant.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time I play one, she gets bigger. And every time you play one, she gets bigger. Because it's all flying creatures, not just ones I control. So it fucks you over, too, if you have play flyers.
Yeah.
You play flyers to block my flyers, it makes my flyer bigger. Go me.
But no,
it's just simple. It was pretty fun.
I love
I mean, I can definitely see
because...
the enjoyment from the format, especially when you're just sitting around a table playing with friends.
Yeah, I love the format.
It's old school kind of.
I love the format for two reasons. Number one, I don't feel like I have to collect them all. Number two, I don't have to try and get 4 copies of a super expensive card. And number three, I can focus on this one build style and just slowly get certain cards instead of like, well, let's go buy a pack and hopefully I'll get this card and I might use this later. Like all the collecting part of it goes away when I'm focusing on that format because I only need to get one. And once I've got that deck together, I sit back and I wonder on whether or not I want to play it anymore. And once I'm done with it, I can sell that entire deck and use that deck to build the next one. You know? So I would personally rather do things that way. So you're listening to the Nerd Method Podcast with West and
Chris.
Yay, you got it this time. You can get in touch with us on... Fuck, what's the email? I forgot. You forgot too!
Let me make sure I know what it is without fucking it up. I have it on my phone.
I believe it is nerdmethodpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, methodpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, just email us if you want to talk to us.
You might want to re-record that. That's a clusterfuck failure right there.
I think it's a nice intro. I really think it's a nice intro. Oh.